Can a single man serve as both the agent of death and the bearer of salvation? Atop the hill of Golgotha, where heaven and earth collided, the Roman centurion Longinus fulfilled his grim duty. He pierced the side of the crucified Jesus with his spear. Yet what followed was no ordinary consequence. The divine blood that splashed into his weakening eyes did more than restore his sight. It stirred his soul awake. This hardened soldier, witness to the Savior's final breath, spoke the words that marked the turning point of his life. Truly, this man was the Son of God, from persecutor to believer, from executioner to martyr. Longinus's transformation is a powerful testament that no heart is too distant, no soul too lost for the reach of divine mercy. Longinus, a Roman soldier, was born in the early 1st century in the region of Isauria, modern-day Turkey, into a pagan family steeped in military tradition. From a young age, he was trained in the art of warfare and disciplined in the strict values of Roman life. His dedication and skill on the battlefield quickly propelled him through the ranks, earning him the esteemed position of centurion, a commander of 100 men, a role both respected and demanding. Being stationed in Judea, however, was not seen as a promotion. The region was rife with revolts and religious unrest, making it a difficult post for any Roman officer. Yet Longinus carried out his duties with the unflinching precision expected of the empire's finest. He spent years enforcing Roman rule, quelling uprisings, overseeing executions, and maintaining order under the command of Prefect Pontius Pilate. His daily life in Jerusalem involved guarding the temple, patrolling the city, and supervising crucifixions, the brutal punishment used to deter rebellion. Over time, like many of his fellow soldiers, Longinus grew desensitized to suffering. His heart, hardened by constant exposure to violence, became closed off to empathy. Still, something stirred within him. Despite his external discipline and achievements, Longinus found no peace in the worship of Roman gods, nor fulfillment in the glory of military life. An unexplainable spiritual unrest lingered in him, an emptiness that victory could not fill. Some traditions even suggest he was gradually losing his eyesight, a physical ailment that forced him to confront the uncertainties of his future and question the beliefs of the empire. Unbeknownst to him, Longinus had been placed by divine providence at a pivotal moment in salvation history. He was about to witness the most sacred and transformative event known to humankind, the Passion and death of Jesus Christ among all the soldiers in Jerusalem. Longinus was appointed to lead the execution detail assigned to Jesus' crucifixion. This was not mere chance, it was part of a divine plan. His years of service, his exposure to suffering, and his silent yearning for deeper meaning had unknowingly prepared him for a life-changing encounter. That Friday morning, later known as Good Friday, began like any other for Centurion Longinus. He received routine orders to oversee the crucifixion of 3 condemned men at Golgotha, the hill just outside Jerusalem. Among them was a man named Jesus of Nazareth, accused of inciting rebellion against Rome and committing blasphemy according to the Jewish leaders. From the very start, Longinus sensed there was something unusual about this particular prisoner. While the others cursed and struggled, Jesus remained calm, enduring his suffering with a quiet strength and dignity. The centurion was struck by Jesus' unexpected behavior, especially when he heard him pray for his executioners. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." It was unlike anything Longinus had ever witnessed in a condemned man. As the day progressed, strange and powerful signs unfolded. On midday, darkness covered the land, an eerie, unnatural eclipse that left those at Calvary in silent awe. Even Longinus, a hardened warrior, felt the weight of something divine. Still observing Jesus, He noticed how, rather than lashing out or begging for mercy, the Nazarene showed concern for others. He entrusted his mother to the disciple John, promised heaven to a repentant thief, and declared his thirst, fulfilling ancient prophecies. Longinus watched bewildered. He was used to blood and hatred, but here was a man responding to cruelty with love and forgiveness. Finally, Jesus cried out, "It is finished, and Father, into your hands I commend my spirit," and breathed his last. At that moment, the earth shook violently, rocks split open, and the temple veil was torn into from top to bottom. Faced with such overwhelming signs, and the incredible manner of Jesus' death, Longinus could no longer deny what his heart was awakening to. In a voice filled with awe, he declared, "Truly, this man was the Son of God." This confession, recorded in the Gospels of Matthew and Mark, marked a profound turning point. A pagan soldier and agent of Roman authority recognized Christ's divine identity even before many who had followed him. Church tradition sees this moment as one of the earliest fruits of redemption. Even before the resurrection, Jesus' death was already drawing souls to him, fulfilling his words, "And I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself." Longinus became the first in a long line of Roman soldiers who, in the years to come, would embrace the Christian faith, many even giving their lives as martyrs for it. As evening approached, the Jewish Sabbath was drawing near. According to religious law, the bodies of the crucified could not remain on display during the sacred day. The Jewish leaders asked Pontius Pilate to hasten the deaths by performing crucifixion, the breaking of the victim's legs to cause suffocation. Longinus ordered his men to carry out the task. The legs of the two thieves were broken, but when they approached Jesus, they saw he was already dead. To confirm the death and unknowingly fulfill prophecy that not one of his bones shall be broken, Longinus took his spear and pierced Jesus' right side with practiced precision. His blade reached the Sacred Heart. In that instant, something extraordinary occurred. From the wound flowed blood and water, symbols that would later be understood by the Church as representing the sacraments of baptism and the Eucharist. The Gospel of John, an eyewitness account, carefully records this moment, affirming its truth so that others may also believe. According to Christian tradition, a few drops of this blood and water splashed into Longinus's eyes, curing him of an affliction that had slowly been taking his sight. This physical healing became a sign of something far greater, the opening of his spiritual eyes. The one who had pierced Christ's heart now felt his own pierced by divine love. His transformation had begun. The spear Longinus used, later known as the Holy Lance or Spear of Destiny, would become one of Christianity's most revered relics. Over the centuries, emperors and kings regarded it as a symbol of divine authority and protection. Today, what is believed to be its tip is preserved in St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican, a solemn reminder of the moment when a Roman soldier, following routine orders, became part of the mystery of redemption. In the days following the crucifixion, Longinus found himself deeply moved and disturbed. The memory of Jesus' calm strength, his dignity in death, would not leave his thoughts. The events he had witnessed, the earthquake, the unnatural darkness, the tearing of the temple veil, convinced him that what happened on that cross was no ordinary execution. Yet above all, it was the blood and water flowing from Jesus' pierced side that affected Longinus most profoundly. It wasn't just because his own eyesight had been miraculously restored, but because something was stirring within his soul, was awakening. The seed of faith had been planted in his heart, but it was the event of the third day that made it truly come alive. Rumors quickly spread through Jerusalem. Jesus' tomb was empty. As the officer who had overseen the crucifixion, Longinus was drawn into the investigation. He knew exactly what measures had been taken, guards placed at the tomb, the heavy stone sealing the entrance. There was no rational explanation for how the body could have vanished. According to early church tradition, Longinus was granted an extraordinary gift. He personally encountered the risen Christ. This meeting with the living Lord, the one he had pierced, confirmed everything he had begun to suspect. There was no longer any room for doubt. Jesus was indeed the Son of God, the promised Messiah. This realization brought about a total transformation in Longinus's life. He could no longer serve Rome. His conscience wouldn't allow him to take part in the persecution of the very followers of the man he had come to believe in. With great courage, he left the Roman army behind, giving up all the power, honor, and safety it had offered. This decision was incredibly dangerous. Desertion from the military was often punished by death, but Longinus chose truth over comfort. Some ancient writings, though not part of official church teachings, suggest that the Apostle Peter himself may have baptized Longinus, while history can't confirm this with certainty. The image is powerful: Peter, the fisherman who once denied Christ, and Longinus, the soldier who had pierced him, both forgiven, both transformed by the mercy of Jesus.